We all have challenges in life. All of our challenges may come at different times when we're not really emotionally capable of dealing with all the different challenges. And therefore, because it comes at different times, sometimes we get down. Sometimes the challenge is so overwhelming that we just collapse. I'd like to share with everyone a story about Rabbi Yaakov Galinsky. He tells the story that he was learning in a yeshiva during the outbreak of the war, World War II. At that moment in time, the Russians came, they gathered all the yeshiva, and they shipped them off to Siberia. All the students in the yeshiva thought this is the end of their life. But only later did they realize that if the Russians didn't come and ship them off to Siberia, a month later the Nazis came and wiped out the whole town. The Russians came in, they needed laborers, they took the entire yeshiva. For a week, they froze on cattle cars on a train going all the way to Siberia. When they arrived to Siberia, they had their Sefer Torahs, they had their Tefillin, they had all their Judaica, and they were a group of 100 students, and they figured, okay, we'll make it happen, we'll make it work. And as soon as they got there, despair set in because the Russians took all the Torahs and all the Tefillins and all the Sfarim, made a big pile and put it on fire. Burnt it all. So here they are, 100 yeshiva students, no more books, no more Torah, no more Tefillin. All the mitzvahs that they possibly had were gone. There was a moment of despair. And they had to go to work. Treacherous work in the freezing cold. 12-hour days. But nevertheless, at the end of the day, they all got together. And they had people watch by the front door because it was communism. And you weren't allowed to express your religious freedoms. And there were watchmen at the front door. And everybody took turns to get up for a minute and a half and to say some type of words of chizuk. Something to elevate them, to give them strength, to give them fortitude to fight on. And Rabbi Galinsky says that many guys got up and spoke, but he doesn't remember what they all said. Yes, at the moment it was, very nice. But there was this one person that got up and spoke. And he asked a fascinating question. And that is, the verse, the Navi tells us, Lama Tomar Yaakov, why should Jacob say, V'tdaber Yisrael, and Israel, the nation of Israel, will utter. Nistara darkai me Hashem, the ways of God are hidden from us. Melukei mishpat yavo, and the ways of judgment, we don't get it. It passed over us. Halo yadata im lo shamata, Elokei olam Hashem. Haven't you heard? Don't you know that there's a God of the world? Borek tzot haaretz, lo ya'af lo yiga, en cheker letvunato. He created the ends of the earth. He never gets exhausted, and it's never too much of a toil for him. Express this student, he says, the question is, why is Hashem's ways hidden from us? The answer is, God doesn't get tired. He created a world that has ends. How does this answer the question? We're asking a question, why are you hiding from us? Why are we lost in the abyss of this exile? Why are we in Siberia? We don't understand what's going on. We're suffering. And your answer, the prophet says, is God created the world with boundaries, and he doesn't get tired, and it's not an effort for God. He explained a very fascinating thing. When a person is in the moment of despair, and he looks up to God, and he says, why, what, help? At the same time, he understands that God's infinite. And at the moment that he realizes God's infinite, he figures, you know what? Because he's infinite, maybe the pains that I'm going to endure are also infinite. And therefore, the premise of the verse is, Nistara darkai me Hashem, the ways of God are hidden from us, but they're ways of God. And God's ways are infinite. So maybe because it's infinite, then we're going to be in this situation forever. And the second you're in a situation forever, you know what happens? Oh my God, it's just, I can't deal with it. It's too much. Explains this young student, says that the end of the verse says that God created the world with boundaries. Understand that the pain that you're in, it's not eternal. God has created the world with boundaries. It's not from the God's perception of how things should be. It's from the humanistic perception. Whatever you're going through is from a humanistic perception, and therefore it is limited. When a person's going through the challenging times, what gives him strength is the light at the end of the tunnel. The light at the end of the tunnel is understanding that this can never be the situation for eternity. It's a temporary bump in the road. And so this boy got up and said to all of his friends, what we're going through here in Siberia, it may seem like eternal, but we will laugh at it in the future. The world has boundaries, it has limitations. This will pass. And it gave Rabbi Galinsky a tremendous chizuk, and it should give everybody a chizuk. Like the verse says, Va'anochi haster aster panai bayom hahu, and I will hide my face on that day. Just that day. It's not forever. Hester panim, not understanding what's going to be, being in that moment of confusion is not an eternal existence. It's just a temporary reality. And that's what we need to internalize, and so we need to understand, because that's what's going to get us out of the rut, out of the situations that are challenging. That challenge can be overcome with this story. Yes, they moved on and they all built families, and they looked back on those years and they understood that the most devastating times was the best times of their life. We have our challenges. We should embrace them, because they're going to give us the strength. We're going to grow. Whatever doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. So embrace the challenges of life and grow with it. Thank you.